Oh, welcome back to the Blackburn View. It's crunch time down at the bottom. Blackburn have drawn as many games in the last month as they had in the previous 18. But Harry, I bet it sure beats losing, doesn't it?
Yeah, before result I was very happy with. First half performance was a little bit sloppy. Was conceded a good goal in fairness. There was nothing I could have no complaints about that. But second half much better, looked good, still a very solid defensively. Um, yeah, can't complain. The only disappointment is that everyone else seemed to win. But you got to look at your own games
Yeah.
and definitely a point gain rather than 2 points dropped, I think.
All right, welcome back to the Blackburn View. Then we are also going to look and talk about Gallagher and the role that he plays within this system. Talk about a little bit about Sammy Smodics, and also going to talk about Piers as well, and preview, of course, the trip to Swansea this weekend. Then, so lots of fans are lamenting Gallagher's role within this John Eustace setup. Harry, just how important has he been in the matches you've seen so far?
Well, I think Sam Gallagher's been one of our most important players for the last few years. A lot of fans, he's a bit Marmite with a lot of fans. He doesn't score the goals that you may want him to, but anyone who knows football knows how important he is. He does everything you'd want him to do apart from score. Leads that line so well. Works back defensively. Works so hard. He's a real good asset for us. And I think the way that Eustace wants to play, it's going to be more direct. And if you've got Tyrese Dolan and Sam Smodics up front, there's not much height in that. So Sam Gallagher's really important with getting that ball, making something stick up there, and bringing the rest of the players into the game. And I feel the performances at the minute have depended on whether he has a good game or not.
Yeah. Just on Dolan, you mentioned, forgot to ask you, should he have had a red card for that cynical tackle in the first half?
Ooh, maybe I might have to look back at that. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to. I may have
All
missed
right.
that, but
Okay. I think you got a yellow, but there's not some Norwich fans earlier calling for that. Calling that for me to be red. All right, then quickly on Simon Smodics then, because goals have dried up just a little bit. Games. Do you think he suits the Eustace system? We know his wife gave birth this weekend, so obviously he's probably had his mind on other things. But is he going to suit the system, do you think?
yeah, he's been a little bit out of games recently. Obviously, Saturday, I think you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think his wife gave birth about 11 o'clock, and then he made the start at 11 for 3. So his commitment's clearly there. But maybe sometimes I feel like he's trying a little bit too hard to get involved, coming a little bit deeper. And I mean, I'm not questioning his work rate. He works really hard, but sometimes he's trying to get too involved in the midfield. And then if something gets forward, he's not there necessarily in the position that he needs to be.
Yeah.
But every player has peaks and troughs. I think he'll come back to his scoring ways. He's had a few spells where he hasn't scored for a few games, and you start to think, "Oh, will he come back? Won't he?" And he always seems to. So I think he'll be backfiring before we know it.
Yeah. I've chatted to a few Blackburn friends of mine, and rarely does a conversation go by where they don't mention goalkeeping. We'll mention Piers' own. I thought he pulled off a stunning save from, I think it was Sargent, when he got in behind the defence and actually probably saved you from losing. Have we seen the best of him at the moment?
Well, there was a bit of an argument at the start of the season. Who's the number one goalkeeper? Is it Pears or is it Woolstead? Pears had a couple of shaky games. Plymouth springs to mind, made a couple of mistakes. Woolstead came in, then he started making mistakes. But since Pears has come back in, he's looked so much stronger. I've always rated him as a goalkeeper. I think you can tell. Again, you can tell if someone knows what they're talking about if they rate Ainsley Pears. I think he's assured the defence. That's what it is. When Wallstead was in goal, we conceded loads of goals, and that's because I don't think the defence really trusted him. If a shot on target, they don't trust the keeper to save it. They think he might spill it, which he did a couple of times. Pears installs that confidence into the defence and bailed us out of jail a couple of times at the weekend with some really smart saves. So yeah, definitely seeing the best I've seen from him in a while, I'd say.
Right. Okay. We're recording this before the FA Cup game against Newcastle, which we previewed last week. And if you haven't checked that out, please do so, because Harry went toe to toe with a big YouTuber or Geordie YouTuber. But this one is about you heading to Swansea. Now, last year you went there and you won 3-0. Swansea have already been to Ewood and beaten you this season, so there's very rarely a draw in this fixture. What do you reckon to this game?
Well, the last time we went to Swansea, I specifically remember that was when I'd accepted the John Dale Thomason project. It was a really weird first 20 minutes. They were all over. It was almost like we were letting them be all over us first 20 minutes. Then something seemed to click, just completely different style, lured them into a false sense of security almost, and then hit them on the break, played some really good football and scored a lot of goals. It's going to be different today. We're going to try and make it a little bit scrappy. Although I must say in the second half against Norwich, we did play some good football, but we're not going to be that possession heavy, free flowing football. We're going to be more direct. It's going to be scrappy at times, and we're going to try and make it difficult for Swansea because they want to play that possession-based football, which they always have been pretty good at. So I think we're going to have to try and break them down and hit them on a counter and score a few direct counters.
All right, we're asking everyone this week who's going down. So, given that Rotherham, we are saying, sorry, Rotherham fans have already gone, which other two teams, based on what you've seen, what you know, are heading with them?
Well, I was just looking at the bottom sort of 6 or 7, and I was trying to find anyone down there that we hadn't lost to this season. We've been really, really poorly against the weaker sides this season. Sheffield Wednesday were good against us. We had a couple of good results against Stoke. I think they're in free fall, but it's one of them that it's almost the phrase "too good to get relegated" gets batted around here and then. I think they probably, or maybe they won't be. I don't know. I think a big factor is Ilias Chair. If whatever happened, I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with him. If he's not going to play, I think QPR probably go down. So I will say QPR. I think they have looked a bit off the pace at times. And I'll say that I think QPR and Stoke I'll go for.
Okay. All right. You don't see yourself at all being dragged into it?
I'd like to think not. We should be all right. I think Eustace has come in and installed a bit of stability into the club. While I was definitely looking over my shoulder at times, and especially with the results of the weekend, it had me a little bit worried. But I think we'll be okay.
All right, nice one. All right, let's go. Score prediction from you, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be, I think, not many goals. It's going to be scrappy. I think we're going to try. Well, we're going to try and make it scrappy. I think limit them from playing the way that they want to play. But a safe bet is a draw for Rovers at the minute. 3 draws on the spin, and I think
1-1.
For 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a nailed on it. All right, cheers, Harry. Enjoy the game. Good luck against Newcastle tomorrow night. Obviously, the whole championship are behind you, especially Sunderland fans have been asked to give you their very best. And we'll catch up with you next week. Cheers, Harry.
Thank you.